Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod, and this is Star Wars 7x7. So, we are getting back to the Last Jedi novelization and all the things that we learned that enhance our viewing of the Last Jedi. We've done all the talk about Solo this past week with all the new reveals that came out thanks to the trailer and the toy reveals and whatnot, so now let's go finish the job on the Last Jedi. And I had to say, one of the questions that we all should have been asking ourselves was never really answered, and nobody was really asking it either. And I think we were all just jumping to a conclusion or making an assumption about it, which is why Rey didn't kill Kylo Ren when she had the chance. And the answer that I think we've all been thinking about is just, well, she's a good guy, you've got a defenseless villain, you don't kill him. Like, that's just not the way that heroes work. But be that as it may, there's more to the story than that. So, just to refresh you, of course, when Rey and Kylo Ren were having their force fight over the Luke Skywalker lightsaber and it broke in half and the kyber crystals sheared apart and exploded and blew them both backwards, well, Rey woke up first, and rather than kill Kylo Ren, she took a shuttle and beat feet and headed off to Crate, or at least headed off nearby Crate so that way she could be picked up by Chewie and the Millennium Falcon. And General Hux went to the throne room, of course, and thought about killing Kylo Ren, but ultimately wasn't quick enough about it, and Kylo woke up to find General Hux standing over him, scratching his side awkwardly. For some reason, Kylo does not know that General Hux was thinking about killing him, at least not according to the novelization. Didn't realize it. But be that as it may, he, of course, tells the lie to Hux that Rey killed Snoke and took off and whatnot. And as he's getting his bearings and thinking about the fact that Rey had the opportunity to kill him and did not, he thinks to himself that this is almost as if she cared for him, and that it's a very foolish decision to either care for him or to not kill him, or some combination thereof. So it's a rather interesting point of view on the whole situation. He didn't come to a conclusion that, oh, maybe she's just nice, or that's what good guys do. They don't kill people when they're defenseless or anything like that. No, he actually thinks that she is harboring some sort of care for him, and what that care is, what level that exists at, whether it's a brotherly, sisterly love, not literally, right? Just, in the agape sense versus the eros sense of romantic love, okay? Whatever kind of feeling it is, like that there is some sort of emotional connection between the two of them, and that is the reason why she didn't kill him. Of course, that isn't the case at all, according to Rey. So we get time with Rey while she's hanging out on Snoke's little shuttle and waiting for the Millennium Falcon to pick her up, and she's reflecting on the fact that she stood over Kylo Ren while he was unconscious and thought about getting his lightsaber and killing him and being done with it, and about how many lives that could possibly save. So certainly the thought occurred to her. But the reason why she did not kill him is because she was not going to make the same mistake that Luke Skywalker did. The mistake being that his future was predetermined. In other words, that he was not redeemable from the dark side of the Force. She is gambling on the possibility that he can be redeemed. That's number one. Number two, the fact that she had seen some version of the future, she doesn't necessarily know what to do with that. And she is starting to realize that the version of the future that she might be seeing might be one that she's just hoping will come about, but it's not necessarily the one that's actually going to happen. So the whole monologue, or internal monologue, that Snoke had gotten into about how dangerous it was to try to interpret the future and how many people had died because they had misinterpreted the future, that seems to be a thing resonating with Rey now as well. And when you think back on the statement that was made about how Kylo Ren sort of unlocked things in Rey in terms of force abilities when he did the mind probe and she was able to fight back and resist and to get in his mind, well, she wasn't able to resist Snoke in the same way when he mind probed her. But maybe there is some after effect where some of Snoke's knowledge of the Force is seeping into Rey, or seeped into Rey as a result of him rifling through all the various corners of her brain while he was trying to find out where Luke Skywalker was. And so this awareness that the future is not something to be ultimately trusted when you're looking at the Force, because you don't know what you're bringing into it itself, that may be something that she possibly took from Snoke. It isn't clear in the novel, it doesn't say so, but I think that's certainly a possibility to consider, that she might have absorbed some of that knowledge from Snoke. And as if all of that wasn't enough, there's one more thing, which is that she realizes the Force itself, and this would be the cosmic Force, the one with its own will and its own intention, isn't done with Kylo Ren yet. And so she realizes that it is not her right to take him off the board. If the Force has some work for Kylo Ren to still achieve in this galaxy, be it for good or for ill, then it's not her place to interfere with the will of the Force, and therefore she has to leave him be. It's kind of like the lesson that Luke was trying to teach her in that deleted scene about the caretakers of the island and the Ravagers that were coming to possibly pillage the caretakers' village, but really it was a bunch of men coming back to visit the caretakers and bring all of their spoils from the sea back to them and share them because it was their wives and families and whatnot. But Rey seems to have taken the lesson to heart somehow that Luke was trying to teach her, which is that maybe there are some situations in which she's not supposed to interfere because the Force is supposed to work through those situations, and it's not always working through her directly. It has other ways and means of acting in the galaxy. And that right there is going to do it for the meat of the podcast. I'm going to handle a couple extra little details around this area of the novel on the audio version of the podcast. That's sw7x7.com/iTunes, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. There's a bit about the escape pods from the Supremacy and about Finn and Rose's escape from the Supremacy that we'll be talking about there. But as for this video here, it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.